go ahead and get this thing going. Ian, how are we doing today, man?
Oh, I'll be honest. This stupid smile on my face is hiding some depression. um, you know, it's the first time I've just been like, feeling this way in a while. I don't ever feel anything besides happiness.
Yeah.
You know, um, and there's just some shit you deal with. It's nothing bad. Like, it's just life. We're locked in the house with 5 other people,
Yeah.
4 kids, and my girlfriend. There's a lot of fucking people, and I'm surprised none of us have gotten angry, had any sort of altercation. There's really been nothing, like, nothing at all. I mean, there wasn't anything bad happen. It was just one of those things where I was like, all right, I got to get out of the house for a little bit. Don't drive myself crazy because it's all, in my brain anyways. So yeah, just deep in my healing as always.
Dude, I feel that though, because like literally just a little bit earlier, I was sitting around and in my head I'm like, something's off. Like in my head, I'm like sitting here like something doesn't feel right now, and
That's
yeah,
exactly how it is.
I was like, I just got to get out. So I got on my bike, rode around the neighborhood for a little bit, but I'm just like, man, it's the lack of human connection, I think, right now, and just having to do this like over a virtual platform and not being able to hug people and like all this other stuff is starting to weigh on me a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm such a physical creature. I expressed myself physically my whole life. Um, up until this point through, martial arts, violence, whatever you want to call it, through working my ass off. And I'm a coach. I haven't been working out enough. I don't know. I just never work out at home. I go to the gym. I lift heavy shit around. I like to fucking throw bodies around and shoot my bow and arrow and like do manly shit that, and I just don't do it. Like, I haven't been hunting. I just finally got a new bow. I haven't been able to lift anything heavy. I do have these 2 barrels. I've got 50-gallon barrels of water, plastic barrels. Like, pepperoncinis and stuff come in, and we just fill them with water and sand, and twist those and move those around. And I've never had a workout, a tool for fitness make me so strong before as those have. But I just want to do what I can't do. Obviously, I'm that sort of creature where I'm like, can't do it. I want to do it, and I want to do it to excess.
Yeah.
But
this is a pretty crazy time, especially for people like yourself that have spent a really large portion of your life being physically active with other people.
yeah. And now I finally get to express myself mentally and emotionally through psychedelics and all the work we're doing, and just through my education. And I love it. And just sometimes it's exhausting, and I live with a professor. I live with a scientist who's really fucking smart, and it's like elite, that trying to keep up like I do with everything else. I'm like, oh, this is physical. Well, I can keep up with anybody. Well, now I'm trying to keep up mentally and just linguistically. Everything is fucking exhausting, dude. And I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, we finally have my website up. We have the integration circle made for South Orange County. And I've got like 650 people or more in it already.
Yeah.
And we haven't even had one yet. We haven't even had a meeting yet. But we're building it. It's less than 2 weeks old, but that's why. But we've done so much, and we got there, and now I'm like, oh, okay, we did it. And of course, my friend's like, oh, this is when you start working. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is when you work more. I'm like, fuck. I like took a little lapse in my education for whatever it was, a week where I haven't been listening to the pod. I've just been doing so much creatively that now we pride ourselves. I pride myself on the advancements and learning everything in this space. That's the obsession, and she can do it because her brain is gigantic and works efficiently, and mine's just geared towards violence and sex and having a good time. So it's a little different, and I'm just trying to maintain this level of education and evolution, I guess you could call it, because I have the McCall method out, but now it's she pointed out this, she's like, so what's the McCall method?
Yeah.
Damn it, woman. Fuck, now I got to put it on paper and like really, which is, obviously I knew that was happening and I'm trying to, but having your loved one stick it in you like that and like, oh yeah, what about this? And you're like, oh, good point. Love you. Thanks. Of course, she does the writing for me anyway. I can verbalize it, but I can't even write with my hands busted, So like,
Oh,
she can put everything down on paper better. I'm a performer. I'm a person that just, I don't know. I'm not big on writing or typing, or I just can work that way, but she helps a lot.
Yeah, dude, it's that's a real crazy thing that can happen though if you get into a space where you're trying to take so much information in for like a long period of time, and then you have a break, and then it's like you haven't been doing much physical stuff. It almost feels like like, oh my god, what do I do? Like I kind of just want to do something that only has one thing that I need to focus on. It's like I don't want to have to try and break down this podcast and how my psychedelic experience integrates with my life and what this meditation meant to me. I just want to go shoot something or go for a swim or go for a run or like something where it's just like I just want to do one thing.
Oh, dude, now it's everything has a meaning. Everything has, archetypal this and there's that and fucking chakra and all. Like, oh my God, there's so much involved in every single thing you do or think. Because sometimes I'm like, I just want to look at everyone and just like, no, this is just because what happened. This is just because I wanted to drink of water. Okay. There's no anything else behind it. And everyone's like, that's what you think. I'm like,
you're sitting here like, motherfucker, really? Like, and then you're like, is there?
And I can't argue with it because it makes sense. And I'm like, okay, now I'm trying to, teach simple, into the NLP and into things, when you're interacting with someone and you're trying to help them through stuff. Like, man, and everything I do has all these different things tied to it, and it's just a lot to learn and figure out.
Absolutely, man. Well, I mean, you've been doing a pretty awesome thing with putting together everything that you've learned, and you're tailoring it in a way to where you're giving back, man, in a pretty awesome way. So, what is the McCall method?
Well, it's like the way that I fixed my daughter when she got sick. Okay, she got 2.5 diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, couldn't walk, couldn't think straight. And at that point in my life, I was a single parent. Her mom was busy, we'll say. She wasn't around. She wasn't around, whatever. And the doctors put my daughter on chemotherapy drugs, methotrexate, painkillers, and anti-inflammatories. And the one thing, and I was just like, you're gonna stick a needle full of ketamine in my kid? I was like, I'll fucking eat you. Do you understand? I will kill everyone in this room. And I just, it made me real soft, to be honest, to go through that, because it's my little girl. But then the thinking of it was diet and exercise. Let thy food be thy medicine. It's true, and I've carried that through my whole life. So whether you're, as I make it sound fancy, I'm the world's first psychedelic integration coach for high-level sports. Maybe I'm not the first one, but that's besides the point. I'll work with anybody. It doesn't matter. My buddy was over here the other day that I work with for free. Who's just a friend of mine I've known my whole life, who's finally got 6 months sober. And, and he's asking about the healing, the addictive healing stuff in psychedelics. And I'm not going to give someone like that psychedelics unless they're good. And I obviously I'm not giving them anything, but I'm not going to give them the knowledge that I have with it. And dude, back to NLP, he said everything, the stories we tell ourselves are so important, but back to the method. So we have diet and exercise. Doesn't matter who you are. You have diet and exercise. breathwork, meditation. You get in all these physical modalities, so we can do whatever you want. That's besides the point. But getting your body moving, your brain moving, you need to be stimulated in a few different ways. And then obviously if you're a martial artist or you're a fighter who wants to work with me, then I know more than all of your coaches combined. That's just how it is. Like, I'm really good at mixed martial arts. And that's just for physical fighting. That's with physical fighting or strength conditioning coaching sort of stuff. I'm I'm really good at it. So there's that portion of it, but more or less what I'm looking to do, or what I am doing, is be a mental coach for these people. I don't have to be in front of them. I don't have to go through these psychedelic adventures with them, through these vision quests. I can help facilitate these things and take them to my shaman. And 'cause I'm not a shaman. I'm not that person yet. I am going through a 3-year course where I'll be certified under the ONAC, and then but that's for my own personal growth. I want to become. And again, I don't look at myself. I will never look at myself as a shaman, but I want to do this because I want to learn all this stuff. Because I'm always educating myself in this realm. So you'll have a large dose, a macro dose, and then you have the integration. The homework before, the setting intention, and the integration during and after. And with sports, that's an ever evolving thing because this is new. I'm still figuring it out. But it doesn't matter what sort of performer you are. You're performing at the highest levels. You're coming to me because you're in the UFC or you're world class at something,
Yeah.
And we work on all those, the crazy things you go through as an athlete, and I can teach you how to overcome them, with simple practices, with integration of psychedelics, and then the psychedelics lend themselves to being a better parent, a better spouse or lover, whatever, a better everything, just a better person. Because we're trying to fix these people at their core before they perform. Because if you're performing and you get anxiety, like fighters are always like, "Oh, I'm a pussy because I got octagon jitters." I'm like, that's not octagon jitters. You climb in a cage every day of your whole life with your friends, and you beat the fuck out of each other, and you're used to that. That's easy. In a cage, when you're fighting, sure, it's kind of noisy, I guess, but it's this background noise. You can't see anyone because it's bright. And there's when you can break it down and compartmentalize it and go through the mental side of it, do a lot of visioning, a lot of breaking things down on that level. Walk them through from the cage, from the walk from the locker room to the cage. What happens in there? Because we're giving and receiving PTSD when we're in there. And you look at fighters now and ask them that, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so tough. I'm not getting anything." I'm like, okay. We're just wired that way. It's just how we are. But we're also wired to give and receive trauma in that way. And then it stores in our tissue, and you're doing it in front of millions of people for money. In a cage, the whole setting is fucking crazy. And that sport's different in that regard, but high level sports in general, it's you're the best of the best, and you're performing to go from good to great or great to elite, to that rarefied air that is. I've been there. It's cool. It's beautiful. It smells so good up there, And sure, I had a beautiful, very entertaining fall from grace, but I'm trying to just teach these fighters how to deal, and these athletes how to deal with these things. And if they want a technical breakdown of fighting, yes, I can give them that, and I can work with them more hands-on and corner them in fights, and be kind of like I don't ever want to take the term guru too seriously, because you know how that goes. Gurus are. I should definitely not be a guru. I'll just end up fucking everybody. But it's the MMA guru. One of my athletes always says, I'm like, okay, I'll entertain it for a little bit. But just because I understand a lot about fighting, but it's the mental side of it, which I'm trying to show to these people. Like, look, you can overcome this stuff, and I know that because I've been at the highest peaks of it, and I've faltered because of mental stuff. That's what it is. It's overcoming that. I've been studying under Vinny Shorman, the mental coach, for a long time. Whether it's things like Hakalau or vision, your field of view, vision, field of vision expanding to the magnet technique to just a bunch of different things that he does. I don't do hypnosis. I've never even started to go down that rabbit hole. But he can, hypnotize me over FaceTime. The first time I heard about him, I was like, there's no way. Another fighter named Joe Schilling attributed Vinny to help him win his title, and I was ringside for that. And that it was this, he won this crazy tournament. The story's insane, and I was there firsthand. And to see what he did was incredible. And then he attributes it all to Vinny. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, let me talk to this dude. Like, there's no way that you can FaceTime me over, like, or you can hypnotize me over FaceTime. I was just it's such a weird experience. Like, it's happening, but you're like, you have to go with it, but you don't. It's weird. But so the back to my, just keep off course, back to the McCall Method. It's about integrating these things for people who are at that level, because they're going to deal with a lot of different things that people just don't understand. The trials and tribulations, the fair weather fans and friends and people that, with these existential things you go through that are insane, to the actual things you're doing for a living. You're only going in to perform there 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year if you're lucky. And this is how you feed yourself, feed your family, do whatever. Like, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, one simple thing can break it. Like, I've been there, whether it's been, drugs or a bad relationship, like, these things, some of them seem so minuscule. Some of them seem so big to be able to deal with them and deal with them so you can perform better. That's all it's about. It's about performance. Obviously I know the performance benefits, the physical and mental performance benefits of microdosing, of macrodosing. Not just on a mental level, not just on a flow state level, like people so generally call it. It's about, things like mobility. It's not just about sight, sound, and smell and things being, heightened. It's about, your kinetic efficiency. Your kinetic efficiency goes through the roof. Your cardio is up because your fear response is down. So you're not worried about getting tired. There's multiple things to deal with in that space where it's all encompassing, I guess. The McCall Method, we can take it from me being a quasi personal trainer that's just going to implement the micro diet and give you, tips with there on a nutrition level to a workout level. Then also, I can add in the I don't want to say psycho-spiritual, but psychedelic. Or if they're high level athletes I don't live close to, I'm not, hands on with them really. We're dealing with more or less just psychedelic integration and how to deal with it all. Also the side of harm prevention, like the things that you have to teach when you teach the story side. You have to understand that all of it has a purpose, and all of it, you at least need to say it all to everybody. Like, you have to have a talk about harm prevention. You have to have a talk about this and that, because we all need to deal with it, to be responsible.
Yeah. I do have a question for you about this whole thing with, especially in a sport like MMA, where you're going in there and you're getting in a cage and you're fighting somebody. How do you see this transitioning to a place potentially where there is a much more positive mental focus on the whole thing? Because I feel like some of the people that I've talked with and some of the interviews I've heard, it's just like there's so much emphasis put around like mindset of like being a fucking savage in there, because you got to go in there and do what you need to do. But are you seeing some resistance when it comes to the thought of like working on your mindset in a little bit different way than traditionally has happened?
No, I mean, I've sat with some, the UFC invites me out. They invite us out on behalf of Unlimited Sciences, so we can start the work, so we can start doing, this study that we've been talking about. We're in the beta stage of it. So I'm at least out talking to fighters.
Okay.
About it all. That's just the beginning. And everyone's into it. You know, whether it's agents that have no idea about psychedelics that are like, wait, you do what? Like, okay, like, they're talking like, and we're talking, you know, agents for obviously the biggest names in the sport, or athletes that are biggest names in the sport, are all like, you know, there's a lot of them are already doing it. A lot of them are microdosing while they're fighting. And we're talking about the biggest fighters in the sport. Like, they're there, it's happening already, but they're tight-lipped about it. And I come in and I go, well, listen, UFC knows. They don't give a fuck. Jeff Nowitzki is all for it. Okay, Jeff Nowitzki understands the healing benefits of it. He understands the protective benefits of it. He understands that how good it is for us, how it's going to make fighting better. You know, people think, oh, you drop the fear response and people are just going to rush into danger. No, you're not. I mean, you're not going to. You're going to have a much more thoughtful process about your engagement with this person physically. You know, and you see microaggressions and not just in the flexing of muscles, but in the facial and the posture and everything. You can notice these things. If you obsess over it like I do, you see this stuff. That's and I'm not the only one who obsesses like that. You know, so to be able to teach these people, you know, or to teach them how to use it properly is a big thing. You know, that's a big part of it. Would be from someone who's farther away who I can't deal with on a physical basis. It's about dealing with that stuff and also, you know, listening to the stories they tell themselves, you know, to be a motivational speaker almost of sorts, you know, to kind of help them change their brain, their processing into I'm the best in the world. I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. And I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to prove it in beautiful fashion because, you know, the prettier you make it, the more money you get, the more, you know, it's sad to say the more shit you talk, the more money you make, but it's true. And you know, you can't even blame someone like Conor McGregor, you know, because would you blame Muhammad Ali? No, the guy's a fucking genius. Conor's amazing.
Dude.
You know, and sure, he faltered. The guy can catch lightning in a bottle. And yes, I have a skewed view on reality because everyone treats me great. Everyone's nice to me, whether it's Conor McGregor or Leonardo DiCaprio. Everyone's cool. You know, like super nice. I have no idea. But to see his fall from grace, so gnarly. I mean, obviously he's running around Ireland, you know, doing some of that Nazi dancing powder and acting crazy, and like that's just what athletes. That's what people do. And you give a person that much money, and that's what people. It's not athletes. It's just fucking everybody. And I'm sorry, but like the two things I learned. This is a me myself. The two things I learned when I grew up: cheese is expensive, and everyone does cocaine. And you know,
oh my god,
it's to see his fall and all that shit, and you know, to all of a sudden that latest fight he had. And people who listen to this have no idea about UFC. I get it. It's not. It's just a sport. I don't watch other sports. I don't care if you watch that one. I barely watch it. But he came down and performed at a level that was, again, catching lightning in a bottle. The guy does it. And to see all of a sudden Tony Robbins is in his corner. There was no pre-fight trash talk. He was respectful and cool. And then to see him work with Tony, and you're like, oh, of course. He's you know, he did the work. He did the work that he had to do with a master of it, and he learned from it. And it's only going to make him a better person. But now we have substance. It's not boring because people don't pay attention to that. People don't pay attention to the guy that just inches along and gets it done, and then he'll surpass everybody. You know, the hare and the turtle. No one gives a fuck about the turtle.
Right.
They want substance. And again, I'm not poo-pooing on the turtle because he's going to do better than all of us, or she, or whatever it is. You know, but it's that beautiful supernova everyone sees, and they're like, oh wow, this is from dark to light, light to dark. You know, like. There's so much to it, and it just shows the human condition because, as the late, great Terence McKenna said, we all are afflicted with the human condition. We all have it. I don't care where you're from, who you are, what color you are. You have it. And psychedelics fix it.
Sorry, it was breaking up a little bit. We all are what?
Oh, I said we are all afflicted with the human condition.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, and one way to fix the human condition is psychedelics. You know, there's there's things, sure, if you want to go pay a therapist for 20 years to maybe come up with a couple things,
Yeah.
and then you have this relationship, it's, I don't know.
That can lead to a dependency thing that
Yeah.
isn't really doing good.
Yeah. And I again, I'm not against it. I think it's cool. That's what you're into. That's what you're into. But I just think there's other ways. And then I don't even know where I was going with that, but there's just a lot in this space of psychedelics right now.
Yeah.
That we're learning, and I'm learning every day. I learned today that, like, again, through my process of me listening to podcasts and trying to learn more and learn more. The studies have shown, and I guess maybe I've heard it before, but that kids fare better being abused physically than they do mentally. Like kids that are neglected. Neglected kids fare much worse than kids who are physically and emotionally abused. The ones that just feel neglected. So then you look at this, so you think, oh, all these fucking rich kids, like I grew up in the same exact area. These kids, why are they so sad? They have everything. Well, fucking none of the parents are here. None of the parents are around. You're neglected. You feel neglected.
Yep.
Okay, and again, I'm not saying this about my parents. My parents did a great job. My mom, she worked, but I was just a naughty kid. I was a naughty boy. That's what it was. I was a fat kid. And yes, all of our traumas are chemically the same. Doesn't matter where you're from or what you've been through. Your trauma is the same. But you know what? My parents got divorced when I was like 12, where they started that process. So that was the kind of the kickoff point of my craziness. But there's just a lot that I'm trying to learn, and like back to that thing where those kids they're worse off with addiction, and all those sort of traits. So it's like I look at my life and I'm like, oh, it all makes sense. It all makes a lot of sense, and of course, as a fucking badass tough guy, whatever douchey persona that I've got tattooed all over my body and how I look, this manufactured tough guy nonsense. I look at a 12-year-old kid. My mommy left me. She had issues. Whatever. I forgive her. She's back. But that was my tipping point to make me turn into a little psychopath. I feel so weak saying that, but at the same time, you look back. I was a 12-year-old little kid who had everything, and then so it's like you just got to look at things that way and do your daily education, because I'm back to doing it as of this afternoon or today. And you don't have to take it as deeply as I do. I obsess. That's how I got to this place. But it's also how I became the best in the world at fist fighting. I was obsessed, and I said, I'm really good at this. So I can beat up grown men when I was like 15. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go make money doing this in a couple of years. But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, man, dude, it's really interesting what you're talking about with the whole neglected thing, and isn't that a motherfucker? Where it's just like that, something like that can be worse. When you think about the worst thing that you can do to the worst people in society, you think about like people that are in prisons, and it's like isolation. Yes. And it's just like, fuck, man. Like, what are we doing to each other? Like, the worst thing that you can do is like give somebody like a cold shoulder. Don't talk to them about anything. Completely shut them out, and then it's just, it can lead to just a lifetime of pain.
Well, yeah, I mean, I look at my daughter. She is my everything, and to learn about the importance of eye contact and all this sort of stuff as their baby. She's 8 now, and I'm like, oh fuck, what have we done? What? Oh my God, what do I have to undo here?
Oh shit.
And yeah, these small things like that are so important. They're so important, and it scares the shit out of me. But there's no one else to blame but myself and her mother, and I put me first because sure, her mom was gone. Okay, she was out doing whatever the fuck she was doing. I know what she was doing, but we don't need to talk about it. What was I doing? Okay, she might have not been around. fucked up or whatever. But I wasn't doing any better. Sure, I was a famous fighter. I was a world champion or whatever. I was making a lot of money, and I was on drugs the whole time. I was on pills the whole time. I had a new girlfriend all the time. I had, like there's just constant shit that was horrible. Yeah, I had my daughter, with me a large portion of the time. I'm super into being a dad, and I'm loving her, and I'm having fun with her. But there was a dark side to it. So I can never hold anything against anybody for what they've done. It's just what have I done? What did I do that I can change? How can I affect this little person from here on out? Going forward, try not to screw up. I'm going to. We all are. We're all going to blow it. Multiple times. But how can I just negate some of it? Or at least while she's growing up from a young age, I'm teaching her things about it as an adult. I'm teaching her things I would teach another adult, things that I'm learning.
Yeah.
And like, listen, it's psychology, it's chemistry, it's these certain interactions, science. I mean, she knows more about plant medicines than probably 75% of the people that work in this space. But that's from science to psychology,
Right.
all shamanism, all that stuff. We do little pagan ceremonies in the backyard, and but I teach her these things because she's growing. She's going to grow up into an adult one day, and I want her to understand as an adult how adults act. Why would I lie to her and teach her a bunch of stuff that is childlike when that's only going to be ripped from her psyche and torture our kids? Whether it's something as simple as fucking Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or this dumb shit. It's like what? Like, I get it. It's kind of cute, but it's business. It has nothing to do with kids.
Right.
We're manipulating them into making money. But that's just a rant. I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying. We need to treat these kids as adults, or just at least kind of. We need to talk to them like they're adults. You talk to my 8-year-old, you're like, oh shit, she's smart. She acts like a child. She acts like an adult. She's not like a child.
Yeah.
And that's why she's still gonna act like a kid sometimes because she's a kid. That's what they do. That part never goes away, but we have to interact with them on a different level. So if I start acting up, if Daddy starts acting like an asshole, or doing something, she can in her mind go, oh, it's because of this. It's you're projecting because of that. So it's and it's not this fake woo woo. We are all the light and energy, and I need a safe space because of words, sort of shit. This is real life application of these sort of things that need to be taught. And I love the woo woo and the energy and all those sort of people. I do. I believe in it very much so. I live with a scientist who can explain things like that on a scientific level to me, so I'm all in.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I like to protect those people, but those at the same time, those softer individuals, they just it's so much blah that you're like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Like, we got to get shit done. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you in any way, shape, and form, but this is just not reality, like, that's all.
No, yeah, I definitely get it, man. And the stuff that you're talking about, I feel like, dude, I feel like that's like one of the next stages of evolution, is being able to like get across that kids are kids, yes, but to deny them reality because you don't know how to explain it, or you have your own issues.
Afraid to explain it. Oh, it's naughty, it's bad. I'm like,
yeah, or I'm embarrassed to talk about it because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's like, well, that might be a point for you guys to actually get to know each other on a different level that you've never known before. And like the shit that you're talking about, man, being able to, like, when your daughter sees you in a certain mode, or you're acting a certain way, and she's like, oh my God, I know why he's acting like that. Yo, that is a beautiful fucking thing, because then they don't have to internalize it like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong?
Exactly.
And they can even bring you back. And then it's like this beautiful thing that you can share. It's just like all this resistance to telling the truth, or like just understanding that like kids are going to find out. They're going to talk about it amongst themselves if you don't talk to them. So do you want to do
and
or other kids their
age?
Dude,
exactly. Yeah, that never goes well. And like my daughter, found out what sex. I think she walked in on her mom or her stepdad having sex or something, and she's like, "Oh, I know what happens. It's weird." And I'm like, "See, we don't have to pretend like it's this crazy bad thing. It's just like, yeah, it's what adults do. Adults also like smoking cigarettes. Why? Because it feels good. Because we want to. It's ceremonial. Who gives a fuck? You'll figure it out when you get older. Don't do it. It's for adults. Simple. Like, I mean, granted, she's been injecting cannabis most of her life, but I want to, like, don't eat those gummies because there's weed in them. But she can handle it. But she actually hasn't ingested THC, man. It's been a couple of years. It just makes me happy, because getting your 3-year-old really high is kind of funny, but kind of not.
Right.
You're just looking like, fuck, what's going on here? It's just plant stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just plant stuff. It's like other people giving the younger kid like a little sip of the drink or a little taste of the whiskey or something. It's like,
yeah. I watched my grandpa get my cousin hammered one time when I was a little kid. I was like, oh shit. Just a jungle, man, just giving him a little sips of booze. I'm like, this is gonna go well. But you see these parents constantly giving their kids, not constantly, I shouldn't say that. That's abusive. The kid's sick or has cramps or whatever. The kid goes through something. Give them a pill. You give them a heroin in a pill. I know it's heroin because I've done it. I've done pills and heroin, and it's the same shit, people. It's no different. And I just constantly remind people, hey, it just lasts forever. You put the morphine molecule in your body, it stays there forever. And
forever?
Yeah, people don't know that. They just don't. Because they have like the picogram, tiny little size in your bloodstream. I can't really explain it past that. But I might bring up, hey, try giving your teenage daughter, who has, her period, or you have your son with growing pains or whatever it is. Give him a little cannabis. Give him CBD. And even CBD, people are like, oh, I don't want to give that stuff to my kid. And like, but you have him on Adderall and you have him on, like, fuck you, dummy. And yeah, your kids, you know what? Your kid might get a little high off weed. Your kid's going to get just as high or higher off of the painkiller you give them. It's no different.
Yep.
And chemically, like chemistry wise, we're all the same. It's just how, like, as on that sort of level. And it's like, why do we think it's any different, any better? Like these developing brains, they're fine. Okay. It's about the setting intention. It's about the ecosystem they're a part of. Yeah. Are you afraid because of reefer madness? Or are you afraid because the trauma you've instilled in your kid is going to give them a psychotic episode? Yes. How do we want to word this? Like, it's we need to look. And I don't know how I became a person teaching about parenting. I'm like, are you guys fucking serious? Are you? Wow. I don't know. I mean, I attribute my parents, my dad, my mom, being great parents, but like, they fucked up a lot too. I look at them now, I'm like, well, you guys are dinosaurs. That's the shit they think. My dad, oh my God, my dad the other day, he was this close to denying climate change. And he's a big Trump supporter. He's an old, rich white guy. And he's like, I don't know about this climate. And I just looked at him across the table. I was like, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare. Just shut the fuck up, and he's just whatever, and I'm like, dude, you can't even that generation, they're out there, man. They because they're our grandparents and great grandparents, they were lied to as well. So they didn't know any better. Basically cavemen. We're talking food, religion, science, everything they were lied to about just because someone wanted to make a buck. Oh, the Mexicans and the blacks are going to smoke marijuana and rape white women? No, they're not. Yeah, well, you got a bunch of creepy white dudes in the back doing fucking God knows what. It's just like all that was nonsense. And now things are changing, and they need to start listening to us because I mean, I'm a big boy now. I'm 35. Okay, fucking take me serious. Like we have science. That's the thing, and we don't have to fall back on, well, Jesus might save us. Like,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that doesn't work anymore. We have the internet. The internet killed Jesus. I don't know.
Well, we've seen that just because you have information, it doesn't equate to understanding. You know, it's
Yeah,
we,
or
we
people that
we
teach
have
it that have no idea.
we have a lot of info out there nowadays, but if we don't know how any of it works together, then it's just you got a lot of geniuses that don't know how to talk. Like it's weird, man. It's a weird time because talking about the previous generations, that everybody's got their own shit. Everybody's got their own generational trauma that they got to try and break. And it's like going from the way that people used to consume information, where it's like either like a radio or a couple channels on a TV or a newspaper, to now it's like I can see whatever the fuck I want is going on pretty much anywhere, just in the palm of my hand with my phone.
Yeah.
And it's a different time. It's going to create a whole new set of fuckery that we got to try and deal with in like 10 years. That is going to be like, oh, what did this time frame cause for us to try to heal? You know, but we're in some interesting times for sure.
Well, and then you have these places like America. This great country that. Sure, we're going through some shit right now. We're a great country. We have a lot of power and all that stuff. And there's a lot wrong with us as well. But like you're saying, from the palm of your hand. Oh, did someone just say Liberian slave trade? Oh, I'm gonna look it up. It's fucking real. It's happening right now.
Yes.
There's people being bought and sold on a fucking open market in a part of the world as slaves. Okay, so we need number one, be grateful that we're here and we're not there. But
Yeah.
number two, that we got. I mean, we're gonna fix ourselves, and then there's a much bigger picture here. I mean, there is. There's the trauma is still this collective trauma we're going through now. Yes, is a big deal. But I think the fact that we have the internet and so many people screaming it from the rooftops. You can't take a trip out there, but you can take a trip in here and do it responsibly. And now they have tools. They're learning about integration. So we're starting it off. I think that this whole lockdown thing is going to be beneficial for us. I mean, economically, I have no idea. I don't pretend to be that sort of person that understands that. I hope it's fine, but I don't know. But as far as society goes, we're getting a good look, at whether it's ourselves or the people that we live with. These are the people that we're married to, we live with, we have kids with, and we barely know these people, barely. And I'm not cool with that, like these guys get trophy wives and trophy kids, and they're used to just like, oh yeah, I'm out. I've fucking talked to her in the morning and talked to her at night, and that's it. And you're like, but this is the person you love, and like, there's so much breakup in the human interaction now, and how we just deal with each other, how we love on each other. And this is a good time to take it. I mean, I know I am. I don't live in this house. I live in my own house in San Clemente, but I'm quarantined here because it's my girlfriend's house, and I need to protect them. I'm the protector rule. There's her 3 kids and my daughter here, and sure we have more space, but that's not the point. It's taking this time to go out of your way to, number one, be nice to everybody because you're stuck with them.
Yeah.
You forcibly be nice. Even if you don't, then you're an idiot, because then you're ruining the space. Don't fuck it up for everybody else, and then you have these interactions with each other, and you try and learn about each other and grow and be happy and just make it better. You should be trying to make life better for each other constantly. When you think of something to do, oh, would this make this person happy? Cool, I'm gonna do it. Oh, I'm leaving, and and sure, sometimes you don't think about when you're getting coffee, but like I'm just saying, there's things that you can do daily. Make them a ritual where you just make the people that you love, because you love them, make them happy. Go out of your way to make them happy, and it'll pay off huge. You'll get way more done they'll leave you alone if you need to be left alone, and to get, like, it's human interaction. Why would you be a dick and be, like, think that's going to help you? Like, just go away, I'm busy. Like, no, you have 10 seconds. Turn around, tell the person you love them, I'm really busy, give me a hug. Well, can we talk after this? Okay, back. Just a simple set of words. It's all it'll take, but
It takes a long ass time to get there, and sometimes people don't ever even recognize that that's an opportunity.
yeah, those days you have where I used to have them. I mean, where you're just angry. I'd be so mad,
Yeah.
and just like wake up angry, go to bed angry. And it's just I can't live like that ever again. No, never. And you're abusing the people you love.
Mm-hmm.
You're abusing yourself. You're having that cortisol is always spiked, and those other bad hormones and chemicals are rushing through your body. So you're not worried about your skin or your hair or how you look or how you feel. It's about survival, and you can't. That's no way. You don't. We've evolved so much in life that we don't have to survive anymore. Like on that sort of level, nothing's trying to eat us. Like, we need to learn to deal with all this bombardment of information and stuff, and also the reality that we're safe, at least here. Again, slave trade in Liberia, not always safe, but where most of us, if you're listening to this or you're watching this, you're safe, you're good.
Yeah.
Chill out. Learn that a smile and a happy thought, a positive thought that I'm going to kill it today. I'm going to get out there and suck today's dick. Okay. That is going to flood your body with positive chemicals, and you're going to be better for it. You're going to be better, and everyone around you is going to be better, because you're just this, beacon of energy. And it's whether it's silly, ridiculous energy like me, or, just any sort of positive energy, some beautiful stoic creature like my girlfriend. Like, it's just different, completely different, but we can all have a positive effect on each other just by the energy we put off.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Earlier when you were bringing up Connor, and then talking about picograms, that sparked a thought, because I have, like, seeing Connor and seeing the route that it looked like he was going, and then seeing him talk about he doesn't want to be that type of athlete that had it all and then pissed it all away, and then he goes out there and it's like, oh shit. And then you see Tony Robbins come in the cage and you're like, oh shit. And you see somebody like him, and it's like, yeah, he had a little bit of an episode, but it's like, it looks like he's taking the shit seriously. He's getting his mind right, and he's going in there and he's doing the damn thing. So now I know that I saw you post a little something about this when with John Jones's latest thing. Is this the type of stuff that you're really excited about trying to help people with, like this type of action that is leading to just negativity and
Yes.
arguably the greatest fighter we've ever seen?
Yeah, and John and I don't really get along. Like, I post about something about him on Instagram, and he'll message me and be like, "Bro, take that down." I'm like, "Fuck you." No, we're not friends. Like, but I respect the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say certain things on social media, because sure, I don't have like the biggest following. It's 80,000 people or whatever on Instagram, and kind of the same on Twitter. But I can get tons of reach. I mean, I've gotten on Twitter, I think my biggest one was like over 2.5 million impressions, 3 million impressions. It's well, for whatever reason, I can start that fire that way really well. And of course, being in MMA, I can reach out and talk to his inner circle and say, just offer my services, because whether I like John or not, that's besides the point. I love everybody.
Right.
Liking and having a general love for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And whether I like you or not is besides the point. That's my problem. That's not yours. That's my insufficiencies popping up. And, well, I don't like this person because they dress this way, or because they fucking whatever. We're all douchebags at some point. But to be able to help someone like that, and again, I just have the access to these sort of people. But if it's anyone that's caught in that's been in trouble a bunch of times, okay, I don't care who it is. if you've been in trouble a bunch of times for alcohol and everything he's been in trouble for, okay, during quarantine, you're caught in your car by yourself with a half-drinking bottle of whatever alcohol. I think it was it really Masvidal's alcohol?
Oh my God! Yeah, I heard it was tequila. I didn't know it was Masvidal.
I don't know. That probably knowing MMA, that's probably a joke. But you know, someone that is dealt with so much trauma, straight up brain trauma. We're not talking about what has happened in his personal life because
Right.
he's obviously been through some shit. Now, I'm not even going to pretend to know what the fuck happened to that man because that's none of my business. If he wants to work, maybe I'll learn it. I would love to figure out, help him through it. But the physical damage, the brain damage, the chronic traumatic encephalopathy, big words, it makes you do crazy stuff, and you're caught by yourself with a handgun that you shot off in the air and a half-drunk bottle of alcohol. I've had a lot of friends kill themselves. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, whoa, okay, well, what the fuck? Okay. So I got on my horse, you know? And it's again, I just have the access to these people, whether it's him or supermodels. This was with a bunch of them in Vegas. And we had to help them through an interesting time. They all they all did, but I didn't give it to them. My buddy goes, "What the fuck, man?" And I was like, "I just got here. What happened? I don't know." But you know, people just have interesting reactions to it, and we have to help them through because they trust us. Or it's my buddy who's been an addict for 20 years, and he's finally needs help. And I still haven't agreed to giving him any psychedelics because I need to suss him out first.
Yeah.
You know, like, or help him, or at least I shouldn't say give it to him. It's like I'm giving drugs. I can't help him through the process. Okay, because I go out there and tell people all the time, I'm not a drug dealer. I don't get drugs. I can just help you work through it. But you know, seeing that situation unfold, man, like I don't want that to be the story of someone like, I don't want that to be the story for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously with John, it would, you know, that's a story right there. That's a story where you're like, wow, okay. And then you start to look into his behavior, and then you see the documentary about CTE and him and the fall from grace. And now you know, like, I don't want to hear another story like that. I don't. You know, even though there's going to be martyrs. I don't want to say there needs to be martyrs, but there's going to be. Yeah. And those people will be martyrs. They'll be put up on a pedestal, and the story will look beautiful. But guess what? The person's still not alive. That greatness that they had to achieve these insane things that people only dream about. You know, you go to a fight and you see someone crying, or you see a little boy that's just so, like, I mean, it feels incredible. You know, just to grab that person and just fuck yeah, give them a hug, love them, you know, sign their belt, and you know, hold that crying girl. Like, it's cool, it's amazing. It feels a little silly sometimes, but you know, to have that impact on people, you know, and this is just, who am I? I had nothing really, you know, like I had flashes of brilliance, but for someone that's like John, I mean, or you know, whoever, they have these huge impacts on people, and you know, I want to make sure that these stories get better, because look at what he's done so far, being, you know, the crazy person he's been.
Yeah.
I mean, he's told an incredible story, and I would like to see it end on a good note. I don't know about you guys, but you know, a lot of the world has the negative outlook. They want to see, you know, the shit burn, you know, before it gets to port, and I'm not into that.
Yeah, like when I watch him fight, it's beautiful, man. Like it is so impressive to me, the way he carries himself in there, like how he was able to do that at such a young age. But it goes back a little bit to what we were talking about earlier. It's just like, it's people. I look back when I was younger and I'm like, give me $1 million, I would have been fucking psycho. Because I already hit the party scene enough when I was younger and didn't have any money. So you give me a bunch of money, it's going to get interesting real quick. And I think that's what the everyday person kind of forgets. It's like, no, if I have more money, I definitely would have bought more cocaine when I was younger. You know, it's not one of those things that I'm like, oh yeah, more money, I would have been perfectly fine and I would have understood exactly where to go in my life. It's like, no, I would have added fuel to the fire.
I would have made smart investments and
Right, right. It's like, no, buy drinks for the bar. We're going out tonight. You know, we're getting a table. Like, it would have been nuts.
yeah. And I people always, they say you should have been this, you should have done that. Yes, I got screwed in the biggest fight of my life. I did. Okay, everyone knows it. It's fine. But I used that that moment in time as a catalyst to start using drugs again, to let my life fall apart from that time on. I was sober. Okay, the one time I relapsed, I died, and I was in the hospital for a week, and then I signed to fight the best guy in the world while I was in the hospital, and that's besides the point. But besides, that was my only hiccup in like 2 years. Well, I lost, and I used that as just I fell apart, you know, and he used it as the catalyst to be the best. Besides John, maybe him, George St. Pierre, whatever. Mighty Mouse Johnson is one of the best ever, for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Hands down. He has the longest record of win streaks and for titles wise.
yeah.
And he used it as that. Now, this was before Connor. They were pitching me to be the first type of Connor character for the lightweights that they hadn't had in a while. I mean, you have Uriah, and it was going to happen. I mean, you can't be that superstar and lose. Yes,
Yeah.
sure, Connor lost, but it was it was just different.
It was very, very different.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that I'm Connor. I mean, he is special. So I think business wise, obviously, I made some smart investments when I was fighting. I did smart stuff. I'm fine. I own my house outright. Like I've done well. But would I have been able to have that crazy success? Let's say if I would have made half as much as Connor, a couple $100 million instead of 400 or 500, whatever it is, and I would have had that superstardom. I can tell you right now that I would have fucked up bad at that point in my life. Oh man, I probably wouldn't be alive, to be honest. And sure, part of me thinks, oh, I would have come out the other side, and I would have been the person I am now and transformed, and probably not. It took me until I retired, and I got off drugs, and I was just sure, I'm replacing one set of drugs for another, but I'm not abusing them every day. I don't do them all the time. I'm not physically addicted to opiates anymore, like I was since I was 14 years old. And it's just, I don't know. That's a funny thing I like to bring up is, would I have been able to do that? Number one, would I have been able to get like 12 or 11 title defenses? And would I have not? Because we all know I would have. Business wise, I'm a business person. I come from a business background, family. With that much success and money and fame, would I even be alive to raise my kid? Or would I be that story? Would I be the one with the 30 for 30 about my life and death? Or a documentary on Netflix that just came out. That's about Ian's crazy life, and was a really good person. He really was deep down. He was just tortured, and he was this, and he was a savant, and this enigma in fighting, or whatever. However they spin it, make it look nice. But that's a food for thought there.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's what you're talking about with exchanging drug for drugs. This is something that I've thought about, that has been on my mind lately, is the types of stuff that I used to do, not the same stuff that I gravitated towards now. It is, and I look at the way that I feel after. Like I don't have to worry about hangovers anymore, because I really don't drink at all. And even cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes back in the day. Like I consider that a substance. So it was just like, at one point in my life, there was it was cigarettes, alcohol, cocaine, and probably some cannabis in there too. But it's also like you think about that type of stuff, and I think about where I was then. And I think about when I would wake up the next day and just be just feel awful and get nothing out of it. Get nothing out of it that would help me.
Zero.
Zero, other than maybe a story of how fucking crazy the previous night was.
If you're lucky to remember it, at least
Yeah,
in my case.
yeah, for real. And now it's just like when I do have like psychedelic experiences and see how that plays into my life and see the types of things that come up and how I can use that to integrate and make new decisions, dude. You look at I just look at that those time frames as like one set of substances got me fucking nothing other than some crazy stories, and this other set is giving me answers. And that's why, like, I think just the whole perception around substance, we got to revisit it. We got to revisit like what it means to everybody.
Yeah, humans as a species. I mean, this is going back a long time, until, from the beginning of recorded history. People like taking mind-altering substances in mass. Well, I'm not talking about a very select few. No, 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 no. People like ingesting substances, not just alcohol. You know, they like ingesting cannabis and whatever. That's just what we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so understanding that and putting making things illegal obviously only creates a black market and things like the mafia, things like the cartels, that sort of craziness, and we need to start looking at this in a different way and just getting rid of the taboo, getting rid of the stigma behind them. If that's even with addicts, even with addiction, you can't blame the addict, you can't blame the substance.
Yeah.
There was a purpose behind it, at one point. Yeah. With that there was, and there was a functional behind it, like that. Those things had a purpose, and now people, you see these poor individuals going to jail for life, double life sentences, like all this crazy shit. We're like, no, we can't. We have to deal with these people differently. We really, really, really do.
Yeah, because there's reasons behind it. Like there's reasons that led to them doing that in the first place.
It's the why. It's not who, or that. It's why. Why is there the pain? Why is what happened to you?
Yeah. It's like we always want to blame something. Like if we can get out of the space of like looking for the thing or the person or the company or whatever it is to blame, I think we can start looking at this a little bit differently, because I don't think it's about like we just want to say, oh, it's your fault or it's this person's fault or it's that thing's fault, and that I don't know if that just makes us feel better about the situation.
Probably.
But who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, it's having to learn all this stuff, and just someone who's been through rehab twice. I know the system is broken. I've been such a big part of it, and I used to even look at addicts. I still do. Of course, the words aren't coming out. The action isn't happening anymore. Me being an asshole to people, or like homeless people, like, you get away from me, loser. I've been there. I've been that person. I mean, sure, I guess I've never been homeless. Sure. I think I lived in my car like a night or two. But, just having the interaction and being grossed out by them, being an asshole. And then, of course, I have this inner dialogue with myself and two other people. There's three of me. And the argument that's happening, it's just like, smack, 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 smack. Like, let's be nice. Sure, turn around, put a smile on your face, and go give that person $5. But if they're going to go buy drugs with it, who gives a shit? Their money. You gave it to them. Like that's that they need that to get through whatever they're dealing with. And sure, we wish they would buy food with it, but you know what? They're not going to. They're not going to. They'd rather eat white dog shit on the ground and have us hit a crack than go eat a fresh sandwich.
Yeah.
It's just, that's the truth. And you can't, we have to look at these people different. We have to look at that because, you know, they're still people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. They were a kid at one point that had that probably had some hopes, had some dreams, had some idea about the way that their life was going to work out. And I don't think them being homeless was one of those things.
Exactly. You know, and sure, it might be a psychotic episode. They might be crazy. They might very well be crazy.
For
And
sure.
that's even more of a reason for us to intervene. Like, you know, in a proper way. I've again, not a person, I don't know how to do it. I can deal with crazy by holding crazy down.
Yeah.
I can maybe talk it off a ledge because crazy and crazy talk well together. But, you know, there's a better way to do all this. And you know, you can't, we just got to figure it out because it's not working. It hasn't worked.
Better
You know,
way is the McCall method.
the McCall
That's
method.
the better way.
This the thing we've been doing, the making everything illegal, the prohibition we've been doing on everything has not worked. It didn't work out. We look back on the prohibition in the 20s or whatever it was, and we're like, how stupid, how futile, that was ridiculous. And alcohol is the worst shit you can put in your body.
Yeah, for sure.
You should be. Heroin is much better for you. Cocaine, much better for you. Meth, I'm not sure about, but I wouldn't be surprised if meth was healthier for you than alcohol. It's something you start detoxing from and start withdrawing from right away. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so bad for you. And like, I'm so happy I rarely drink. I had maybe a fourth of a glass. The other day, some clients came over and we were sitting by a fire pit just talking about it. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't like alcohol. But yeah, anyway, what we were talking about before, it's the system needs to change. You know, this whole thing is broken, and for us to be going through the prohibition of it all, we'll find out. And these drugs have actual benefit. These drugs have scientifically proven benefit to our lives, to everyone's lives, and we're still fighting. We're still like, nope, these are bad. This is stupid. All the blacks and Mexicans are going to rape everybody. Just wait, just watch. We're going to tell you that. And you're like, dude, no. There's real science behind this, and we need to start listening to people who are known as the intellectuals. I mean, think of all the smartest people in the psychedelic space. They're the greatest minds in the world, literally in the world. And you know, I mean, sure, I have a more firsthand look because these are the people that I conversate with. This is someone that I'm dating, you know, and in love with, like building a life with. But it's like, we need to. People will rather listen to me, some idiot with a blue check mark, with no education. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. The fuck do I know? I read and I can listen to people that are smarter than me. Just because I'm a parrot and I can say it after I hear it, you know, like right away because I'm good like that. No. We need to learn. We need to learn to listen to these people because they're right and they're gonna save our ass. We're over here just listening to Donald Trump talk about whatever. Like, yeah, dude, what the fuck? Like, why and it's not just him. I don't want to get on a rant about him. I mean, whatever. About anyone, you know, about anyone that's outside of the space that isn't a proven professional in what they're doing. We're gonna listen to those people and go like, no, this is legit. 5G seems totally normal, you know, like it's just, you know, it's silly. It's really silly the way we live it. You know, we need to be more responsible with the education we put up on ourselves and how we take that information and really take it with a grain of salt and stop relying on, you know, like Jesus or whatever it is that has no proven results. Like I'm not against religion at all, but I'm just saying, can you scientifically prove Jesus? Nope. So, and again, I'm not. It's Jesus, Muhammad, wherever it is you want to take it. I'm not just pick on Jesus. We need to really have these people who have real understanding of it and papers. You can literally hold a piece of paper and go, look at this. This is a chart and a study of all this stuff we're talking about. This over here is just an old book that was written that has nothing to do with any of this stuff we're trying to accomplish. So you should leave it out. You know, like it is literally, there's not one story of it in this entire book. So let's not bring that up. Let's leave it over on there, and you can deal with it later. You know, when you have time on your own to talk about it, then talk about it with your friends. But this is real life seriousness, and you know, it's what we have to do, because our fucking planet's broken. I don't know if anyone else noticed. You know, like it's really fucked up, and we're all going to die if we don't fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Horrible death too. Not a good one. This is going to be really bad for our kids, grandkids, great grandkids, whatever. They're going to suffer. They're going to suffer the worst kind of shit ever that we've ever seen, dying in crazy rates. And shoot, this is going to get real bad. I hadn't really thought about it till now. Ooh, that's going to suck. But you know, I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. You got to do what you're going to do. Well, if people want to check this out, and you're admitting people to the group that find it, right?
Oh yeah, so it's the South Orange County Psychedelic Integration Circle. We made it wordy because it's just what it's called, and there's no other. We had to call it what it is. But also because it's just a private group. There's 600 and let's see, there is like 650 people in it, I do believe. And you know, so yeah, if you send over a request, I'll approve you. Just you know, be appropriate. Like oh my god, I had a good friend of mine arguing with another person who was a fucking scientist, who was like, "What do you know?" And I was like, "Bro, I know you're going through some shit, but you can't." And he even said, he goes, "I was just having this conversation with my buddy I'm with. That watch, Ian knows this woman, and she's like really important to psychedelics." And I was like, yes, I know her, and she's extremely important. She's one of the best minds in the science of it, and you're fucking mocking her on the page. It's like, do not do that. No one. This is a nice, safe space for people who do get offended by words, because everyone just if you don't have anything positive to say, don't say it.
We'll say it.
Believe it yourself. Like just add in cool stuff and don't shit on anyone, because if you do that, then I'm gonna kick you off, and you know, like, I'm not gonna be mean or anything, but I'm just gonna just take you off. That's all.
Yeah.
And check out the McCallMethod.com, the McCall Method Instagram, my Instagram, Uncle Creepy MMA. Just can't seem to get rid of that word or that name, but oh, that's all right.
Yeah, that'll probably stick with you forever.
Forever. Damn it.
Well, thanks a lot, Ian, for taking some time out today to chat, and love what you're doing, man.
Thank you, man. You lifted my spirits. Like I told you, I wasn't having the best day, and
well, it's mutual, because I was going the same route, and awesome discussion helps with peace of mind, I feel like.
It does. Sitting in circle is huge, and I tell people, even if you're going to do it on your own, you want to have your psychedelic experience on your own. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But setting intention and then integration after. Reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Talk to a friend. Because if one of your friends is well versed in psychedelics, they're going to want to help you. They're going to want to help you talk about it. They're going to want, and you can just, young or old, I mean, someone with a life experience is always better, but it doesn't matter. When you go through those experiences, you understand it. You just have a better grasp of what this person is dealing with. And to hear another person's outlook, unbiased, just, we need to, it's why psychedelics are so amazing, because that fear response is down. We need to not only hear, but also say the things that we need to hear and say that have no other meaning besides what they're said. There's no, oh, well, you said this, did you mean that? No. These are things that, you need to hear my feelings and I need to hear yours. And we need to give and receive that way, So, and psychedelics by themselves can be hard, I guess is the word. I don't know. It's difficult to, because you're always on that journey by yourself. But while you're going through it, I mean, be around people, be around your friends, your loved ones, or your girlfriend, whatever it is. get with that person you love, and I mean, couples therapy with psychedelics is huge, especially for that communication. Don't take too much. Take a little bit. Take just enough, where you can function and talk and
Yeah.
feel things, and so yeah, that's my recommendation.
But
Because
those
they're gonna do it anyway. So
these are the kinds of questions that you can ask in that Facebook group that you started,
yeah,
where people can get advice and practical ideas to help with whatever they're going through. So
yeah, I should do a whole thing like Ask Ian, and it'll be ask me a question about psychedelics, and then Raina will answer it for me in a much better way.
there you go.
Write a whole dissertation on it.
You're like, I'm gonna answer by reading my answer real quick.
Yeah, if the wording reads like it would sound like broken Serbian, then I didn't write it.
There you go.
And if there's really big words in there, I can't spell shit. So.
Oh yeah, man. All right, but well,
Thank you very much, man.
rest of your day, and yeah, I'll talk with you later.
All right, see ya.